Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Presley Mania. My name is Rhonda and today we are going to go over a couple of different things. First of all, and most important, and I'm so excited about it, they have released the name of Lisa's book that's coming out in October, and it is called From Here to the Great Unknown. That is the name of the book, From Here to the Great Unknown. And I don't know, many of you probably have already seen. I'm sure most of you can see that. Well, sorry, this isn't very good and clear, but I wanted y'all to see that. And man, the news is all a buzz. Because if you look at that picture, it is just little Lisa and her daddy. But for those of us who have followed Elvis for a very, very long time know there was more to that picture than just the two of them. Priscilla was also in that picture. Those were family photos that had been taken before they separated. And if you look very closely, you can see Priscilla's hand on Lisa's arm. But isn't it funny, and do you not find it strange that out of all the pictures that could have been chosen for this book, they went with one that Priscilla was in and she's been cut out of? Are y'all reading anything into this, or do you just take it for what it is? I mean, there are definitely pictures out there of just Elvis and Lisa. I would have been perfectly fine with just a photo of only Lisa on the cover. But no, they decided to go with the one of little Lisa and her daddy when she was just a little girl, but her mama's not in it. Now, is it possible when we turn that jacket cover over, when you open the book and there's the inside jacket, that Priscilla could be in there? I guess it's quite possible, so we will just have to wait and see. But I know a lot of the people that are not in the Priscilla camp have been hopeful that this is a sign that the book is going to have the details that we were hoping from Lisa, about her relationship with her mother and all of that kind of thing in there. But then those in the Priscilla camp are very upset that Priscilla has been cut off on the picture. So, I don't know. Please let me know which way y'all are leaning and what you think. It's been such a seesaw and everything. Priscilla had her birthday party and Riley was at the party. And, I saw on Facebook all kinds of comments like, well, why would she even go? And why is she there? And, we thought that she was, not happy with her grandmother. But bottom line is, we don't really know what the story is with them. And we have to always keep in mind that Priscilla is Riley's grandmother, and blood is thicker than water. And so regardless of whatever relationship they have, let's see, what's the best way to put it? I think Riley feels an obligation to have been at that party because it is her grandmother. Also, it was an opportunity for her to spend some time with her sisters. What I found really odd was that Danny Keough and Michael Lockwood were there. And there's a photo of them and they're sitting side by side. Danny, however, does not look very happy about it at all. And Lockwood is all grins and smiles. So, I'm not real sure what to think about that. But for now, those of us in the Riley camp are happy that the cover has been chosen. I think the name is perfect, From Here to the Great Unknown. The last song I believe she recorded, well, one of the last ones that she recorded with her dad, where she voiced over, had those lyrics in it, "From Here to the Great Unknown," and it's "Where No One Stands Alone" was the name of the song. And if you have not heard it, you should definitely listen to it because it's beautiful. The harmony is great. She sounded so good singing with her daddy, and I just absolutely love it. In fact, my dad has listened to it several times, and he is the one who commented to me. He goes, "The harmony in this is just beautiful," and it is. It's a very touching song, and gospel is very near and dear to my heart. I grew up singing it, and my whole life with my mom, and so to hear Lisa sing it with her dad is special to me. All right, there is one other thing that I wanted to go over with you guys today. I'm a little late getting it to you, but with all of the news about the Graceland sale and stuff, things kind of got pushed back a little. There is some more information on the Bridget Cruz and the Priscilla trial that's going on. Priscilla has responded to the amended complaint that Brigitte, also known as PPP, Priscilla Presley Partners, has added to the lawsuit. And so Priscilla's lawyer has responded. It was e-filed on May 22nd. So I kind of wanted to go over a little bit of this with y'all so you would know what's going on and what the latest is. I did look before I came on to make sure that there hasn't been something added to this since I last looked, and Bridget's attorneys have not responded as of yet. I don't know when we'll find out, so I'm anxious to see where all of this is going to go. So let's delve into it, shall we? Okay, I thought what I would do is just start. This is the response from Priscilla's attorney, and I thought I would read the preliminary statement that they made because it is quite telling. It says, "This case began with a complaint ostensibly filed by Bridget Cruz on behalf of Priscilla Presley Partners, LLC, PPP, alleging that Miss Presley, a California resident with no meaningful ties to Florida, has denied PPP the right to use her name, image, and likeness, NIL, in connection with certain live promotional events that occurred outside Florida. On the eve of the evidentiary hearing on Ms. Presley's motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction and failure to state a claim, Ms. Cruz orchestrated the current amended complaint to add 3 new plaintiff entities for the sole purpose of trying to manufacture jurisdiction where none exists. These new entities, however, still cannot create personal jurisdiction over Miss Presley, and they have no claims in any event." Okay, so what Bridget did, just a little refresher, is if you remember in the original complaint, they had formed several different companies. When Priscilla went to Florida to do this, and we're going to get into some of this here in a little bit, but anyway, Bridget ended up adding to the amended complaints the other companies, not just Priscilla Presley Partners. And the new plaintiffs that she added were PBPBK2 LLC, and then Virtual Recollections of Priscilla Presley LLC, and Recollections of Priscilla Presley LLC. And so what Priscilla's attorney is saying is that he doesn't feel like that they should have been added because they're basically saying the same thing the original suit did. and he doesn't see any need and that there is anything in these companies that should be linked to the other. And he also goes on to say that he doesn't feel like, because it was a Delaware corporation and also because their primary place of business is in Florida, that they have any jurisdiction over Priscilla, because she is a California resident and claims to have done very little business in Florida at all. Okay, I'm not a lawyer. I've stated that many times to all of you. So some of you may have a lot more legal knowledge than I have. So I don't quite understand why the Florida thing, they keep coming back to that they have no jurisdiction over Priscilla because she's a California resident and this company's in Florida. When the suits, to me, were all about the fact that she signed an agreement with companies for them to use her name, image, and likeness. I don't understand why Florida it's all being centered around that. If you sign a contract to use your name, image, and likeness, doesn't it seem plausible that it would be for wherever that is used? Because they also state in here, part of Bridget's complaint was that she went to the Venice Film Festival and she had excluded them from that, so they received no revenue. The Christmas at Graceland special, which I've said over and over that I feel like there's nothing there for them to get, but that they were excluded from that. Well, that was done in Tennessee. Okay, so what I'm understanding is Bridget is claiming it's the name, image, and likeness, that she was denied access to that and denied revenues from the events that have happened after Priscilla has signed these contracts. So if that's the case, I don't understand why the attorney is saying that they have no jurisdiction over her, because the agreement she signed absolutely say that PPP, Priscilla Presley Partners, that she gave them the right to use her name, image, and likeness. So we will see how all of this plays out. I wanted to say also, let me get to what was next. Says that Ms. Cruz also had Ms. Presley sign the so-called NIL agreement on 2 different trips, and that she had Priscilla come and sign those documents there, okay? But later on, Priscilla states that she doesn't understand what she was signing them for. So we'll get to that too in a minute. She said in January, as Exhibit 1, let me read you this. Part of the factual background, it says Ms. Presley is a citizen of California with no meaningful contacts with Florida. So see, that's what I was saying before. Ms. Presley has no meaningful contacts with Florida. She is a citizen of California, and she maintains her personal residence and usual place of abode in California. And then it says, see Declaration of Priscilla Presley, which we've gone over before. But Exhibit 1 was this. Priscilla leased a house in Florida, and Bridget claims that Priscilla was going to move to Florida to try and get her expenses under control because it was a lot cheaper to live there than in California. But anyway, she leased this house in January of 2023, and Priscilla's attorney says that Ms. Cruz had Ms. Presley sign a lease to rent a home in Orlando, Florida. And the landlord and owner of the home was Ms. Cruz's husband, and the only time Ms. Presley has stayed at the home was as a guest of Ms. Cruz in January of 2023. Miss Presley has not been there since. She is not aware of who now uses the property or how, and she has never knowingly paid or received rent on the property. Okay, well, that's really confusing to me. Why would anyone lease a house from a realtor and have they're not planning on ever staying there? It makes no sense. And there's copies of the signed lease agreements in here stating what she can do, what she can't do, when the rent's due, when it's not due. And they're saying that the person who owned the house was Bridget's husband. Something is way off here. I'm just saying, none of this makes sense at all. I mean, why would Priscilla sign her name to a lease if she wasn't going to be using the house? Is it possible that she was planning on using the house, and then here we go, fast forward just a couple of weeks, and we lose Lisa. She loses Lisa, and then decides that maybe Bridget isn't working in her best interest and decides to just let all that go? That's a possibility. Okay. Let me move on here. I told y'all about that one. Let's see here. Okay. Listen to this. It says, while Miss Cruz and or Mr. Fialco designated a Florida address as plaintiff's principal places of business, Miss Presley never understood or intended that plaintiffs would perform any substantial amount of business in Florida, and Miss Presley is not aware that plaintiffs have ever performed any substantial amount of business in Florida. Okay, well then why in the world did she go to Florida in January, sign all these different company agreements that gave Bridget and Kevin Fialco primary managing, they're a managing LLC, a managing member. Why did she give them permission to use her name, image, and likeness if she wasn't planning on them doing that? And how does that just pertain to Florida? I don't see where it does. Okay, it goes on to say here, item 3, plaintiff's claims have nothing to do with Florida. That Miss Presley learned in or about August of 2023 that Miss Cruz was attempting to misappropriate Miss Presley's assets and was engaging in other acts of wrongdoing. Thus, Miss Presley began extricating herself from Miss Cruz. Okay, well, you learned in August of 2023 that she was starting to misappropriate funds. So you signed this agreement in January, but it's in August you started finding out she's misappropriating funds. Something's not going on. Something's shady with her. But you had already signed those agreements. So you just gonna act like you just didn't understand what you were signing? She said, I never understood or intended that the plaintiffs would perform any substantial amount of business in Florida. But yet, Bridget is saying it's not just Florida. She's saying, what about when you flew to Venice and you excluded us? What about all of these different shows, An Evening with Priscilla Presley, that you have excluded us from? You're promoting your name, image, and likeness, and we're not receiving any kind of benefit from it. That is what I see that Bridget is basing her suit on, and I am not sure how what Priscilla's attorney is claiming is going to hold up. So we'll see about that. Also, what else was there? They also say, applying, this again is Priscilla's attorney, applying First Florida law, it is clear that Miss Presley, as a non-managing member, does not owe PBPBK2, VRPP, and RPP any fiduciary duties. And I don't know about that. But I thought it was interesting because we have an LLC, and I thought, well, all of the members, on an LLC should have equal share and voting rights, and you're supposed to know, but there are two different kinds of LLCs. And Priscilla's lawyer is claiming that that Priscilla is a non-managing member. Well, here's the difference. There are member-managed LLCs and there are manager-managed LLCs. The one that Bridget and Kevin Fialco and Priscilla set up are manager-managed LLCs. And I'm wondering if this is going to be the loophole that pulls Priscilla out of this lawsuit. Because in manager-managed LLCs, LLC members are sole owners but are not actively involved in day-to-day operations. Instead, management authority is delegated to a separate non-member entity, which could be an individual, several people, or another entity. So in this case, the managers are Bridget Cruz and Kevin Fialco. So they're saying that she didn't breach any fiduciary duties because she's not a manager. That may be a sticking point. So we'll see how that one plays out as well. I do find it interesting that once again, Priscilla has pulled the, oh, I didn't know, I didn't understand card. And the attorney is using that as part of his argument. When, as a matter of fact, Bridget went to extreme measures to make sure that she did understand what she was signing for all of the corporations, everything they were doing, why they were meeting in Florida, all of that, because she had Priscilla meet with an attorney, and the attorney was Attorney Wright, and she had Priscilla meet with her, talk with her. The attorney wanted to make sure Priscilla understood why they were setting up these companies, what their functions were, what her responsibility was. And not only did they have the meeting, it was videotaped. So all of this is on record, and they'll be able to use it. I guess it's admissible in the court because it proves that she did know what she was doing. So that I didn't understand, I misunderstood, unless that videotape shows something completely different and the attorney didn't explain it. I don't know if that's going to give, Bridget's attorneys, and Bridget some kind of recourse. It's all very deep. I don't know what is going to happen with any of this. This is just simply an update of what's going on, so you guys will be in the know and ready to, handle the next little bit that comes out. So in time, we should have some more information, and I do not know when this is going to court yet. I did not see anything about it in these latest documents. So I guess we will just have to wait and see what happens with this. So at this point, I guess they're probably just reviewing the response, the rebuttal from Priscilla's attorney, and then we'll probably have more information after that. So that's where we are, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little segment. I feel like I was kind of all over the place explaining it, but if you have any questions, just put them down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them and try to go over them, or at least address them on the next show. We are getting so many, I'm getting so many comments on my show, and I thank you all for that. I really, really appreciate it. That it's hard to answer every single one, but I do try to answer the ones that have specific questions. And so if I've missed it, my apologies to you guys. Thank you all for tuning in, and if you have not done so, please hit that subscribe button. It really does help put me up in the algorithms, so that when people click on the name Elvis, my show will pop up. So if you have not subscribed yet, please do. I really would appreciate it. And as always, remember, you only get one shot at this life. Live each day to the fullest, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring. Until next time, bye everybody.